Alright, now that we've had a mistake for the morning, how is everybody? Sorry about the echo, but you know what? Shit happens sometimes. I hope it's all coming through now. I got green, 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 and green. I got so many screens up on my screen, or windows on my screen, or whatever the hell is going on. How is everybody? We have a newcomer to the chat, Miss Bates Bitch, who just got themselves a wrench. We are up to 193 subscribers, so guys, get me 7 more, and then you'll have wrenchless people in the chat. Alright? Alright. Looking forward to that. Then we can incentivize the wrenchless to come on the show. Meanwhile, I did not get any guests for today, so that invite goes out that if you get hold of me on Twitter, I will start up the hangout and invite somebody in to just, well, hang out and play the game. Why not? Until then, let's hear the click of my mouse a few times while I make this screen convert over to a game. And I screwed it up, didn't I?
Welcome to the Great Debate.
I sounded like Dr. Seuss for a minute. Well, I don't know which minute, so I can't remember how to imitate it. But we'll keep going. Okay, so when there are no guests, looking over, no messages. Okay, when there's no guests, for those who are new, the chat gets to pick what we talk about. Ever so interesting, waiting for what's going to come up first from the chat. But with that being said, let's do those individual hellos. We've already said hello to Space Bitch. We have Data Wasteland, who popped into my chat in the middle of the night and just checked to see if the bots were still running. So thanks for that. They weren't, but I do pay attention. Nice to see you just like to come in and check things out. Sometimes I do leave them running, though. I'm sure you've found it that way. Daryl, how are we doing today? Trez, Lacey Ann, Dark Sasuke, how's the new job? And we have toys. Toys it is. Should toys be designed with only the intent to learn, or are toys a learning device? There's a lot of new stuff out there, obviously, that breaks 10 minutes after you buy it in some cases. And those toys are like the preschool and the play school toys, those big plastic ones. Press the A! Good job. And it seems like there's quite a few of them. You have to wake up early. Let's see. It's 5 after 9 my time. I do not set an alarm, and I'm usually up by 4 a.m. Get up. Usually I get a shower in the morning. I get dressed. I walk down the road, get me a cup of coffee, come back, have a cigarette in the garage, relax, come in, start working on the questions for the show for that day. Whatever it is that has to be done. Line up all the windows on the screen so I can see everything going on. Yeah, you get into a routine, though. You'll get used to it slowly. But I noticed that there are a lot of toys designed for learning. Of course, this is stepping aside from games, and you can sort of consider puzzles. Yet, I buy coffee. Just one large cup of coffee in the morning every day. Considering how much coffee I drank when I made my own, it's costing me about the same amount of money, because I would sit and drink the whole pot because I made it. And I would buy a can for a few bucks. It would last me a few days, and then I'd have to go buy another can, and it cost me a hair bit more to go get it. A hair bit more, and I don't drink as much, which is better for me. So, benefits and losses, everything. Some things have the ability to be considered a learning toy. Now, I want that extra caffeine coffee. Gotta have that stuff that, 1 cup packs it in there and I'm good for the day. building blocks, Legos, things like that are kind of, they teach you how to build. Other toys like the letter games and the talking toys, they teach you how to do the alphabet. You have dolls that now teach you the responsibility and care. You know, you gotta change the diaper, you gotta hold it when it's crying and feed it its little bottle when it's screaming or whatever. And they're annoying. They are so annoying, but they are kind of learning toys. So, should toys be more focused on learning and less on playing? Or is that the focus of a toy? This is a weird conversation to have about toys. Lawn darts are a great toy until you shoot them at somebody. Just a PSA: don't throw your yarn. Don't throw your yarn. Don't throw your lawn darts at people you know. They might not appreciate it. Learning is just a bonus. Yeah, but how about if you're a parent? Let's look at this from a point of view. What if you're a parent that you want your kid to be smart and successful and you want to try and give your kid an edge? Then you're going to go out there and look for a specific type of toy that you think is going to give your kid the edge. I know. I tried to do this. I tried to buy the posters for my kids' rooms that you see in classrooms where they see the A, B, C, D's and be able to go through the alphabet. I buy the pads that they can trace on. I buy the math books they can work out of. I buy them stuff to do that'll teach them something. In most cases, I try to. I buy them the fun toys, stupid cars, racetracks, launchers, things like that. But learning toys, too. All toys are learnings. The ones that inspire imagination also inspire creativity. The best toys are blocks. Welcome. I see a wrenchless one. How are we doing today? Patrice Ripley. That was your comment. Awesome. Yes. The best toys are blocks, which is why I'm very fond of Legos, because they're a block that allows you to manipulate and build. Also, things like Connects I always found were really good. They help you learn the design and structure. The first time you put it together, you're learning from what the instructions say. Then you take the damn thing apart and you try to build something else, and you realize that if you don't structure it out right, or you have something leaning over one side and not over the other, that it's not going to stand straight. So this gives you the idea of how to put things together and build. This gives you practice, insight. It allows you to develop the creativity young before you actually get out there and do things and maybe find something that you're inclined to want to do. Just like a lot of toys kind of do in young ages. I don't always necessarily go for the male-female sex toys. For my kids, I try to go over to some of the creative science toys that they have in different sections, where you can. I even bought something. I had one of these as a kid. It's a 201 electronic project lab. I try to let my kids play with that. It's literally just wires and springs with diagrams of how to hook things up to use what resistor and what capacitor and all that. You put some batteries in it, you hook the wires up on it, and you play with it. And playing with it is putting something together. You can make a radio, you can make a light, you can make buzzers, you can do all sorts of stuff with it, which is what makes it cool, but it's also versatile. I bought my kids these what are they called? The magnetics. They're these little tiny sticks with the little balls on the end, and you can build structures out of them. They're really cool. My son likes to, with them, test how to build different things with either the squares or the triangles, or how to make a solid structure. Me, I was trying to make it build into a ball, like build them out into a round ball, but because of the length of each one and the way they do fit together, it's a little odd. Excuse me. Is a pet rock a sex toy? Depends on how big and how smooth and polished you made it. Pet rock was the best toy I had. My daughter likes to collect the DG rocks, the decomposed granite that have the little sparkles in them. and the white DG that are really, really sparkly and they stand out in the middle of the pile. She likes to go through and collect all those and make a pile in one spot. So there's that. My daughter loves rocks, things that happen in the yard. A lot of other toys that are coming out are also being designed with a learning intent behind them. So I guess you could argue most toys probably fall into some sort of learning category. And then it would be what doesn't? Are Benoit balls a musical instrument? Is that the yoga ball, those big exercise balls? Is that what the Benoit ball is? I gotta remember, I'm doing these things to my mic so that it sounds different and doesn't pick up noise around my house. And then I have it set up so I can hear myself talking. But then I realize when I get this far away, I don't sound as loud as I used to, which isn't that far. So I have to get back up here on my mic. Yeah. Hey, Bullwinkle. Alright, here we are back at the board, as you guys have been able to see it. And you know what to do next. Morning smokes and coffees is my favorite morning show. Good chats, and they keep moving. I don't sit and linger on something till it gets boring, I hope. Just enough to talk about it. Exercise, wink wink. I'm working on changing the topics, but it's one of those weird things. I don't know if you guys will understand this, but having had so many conversations before I come sit down at my computer to fill in the questions that we used, I almost dread some days. And I'll sit down in my chair and go, how many categories do I gotta fill? What am I gonna do? Eventually, I'm gonna run out of things to talk about. It's my biggest worry. I appreciate that, Lacey. Thank you. And then I open up the program and I clear out the questions that we went through the previous show, and I put this little lowercase x there. And some of them I will sit there and stare at that x for a minute or two and then start typing something stupid and I'll move around. But other times it's weird how you'll put the first word or two down and then all of a sudden it'll just click and 3 or 4 questions will just pop in your head and you just can't get them down fast enough and word them correctly. So that's where my spelling mistakes and the grammar comes in. It's like, oh, I got this. No, I got it. I got that one. Oh my God, I just set the show up. That was quick. Cool. On to the next thing. What else do I got to fix for today? Okay, I need to get some links out there. Oh, have we ever done What the Fucker for the win? For Fuck the World. We have, but it's always fun. Alright, so let's talk about this. Some of you probably don't watch Thunderfoot anymore, but I'm a mildly smart person, and I do really enjoy some of his science videos. He does have a way of simplifying things to a point of understanding, and that's important to me. So he put out a video convincingly stating that if we are to die from an asteroid, we have 4 hours. What can you do? Bullwinkle obviously saw this video. It was really cool. Basically what he was arguing is somebody had left a comment stating that the Hubble telescope was able to see very clearly star systems millions of miles away, but that it would not be able to see a 1 kilometer long vessel very clearly up close because of the type of telescope it was. It wasn't powerful enough to look at it with clarity. And I don't remember, did I see that one? I may have seen it in fast forward. Sometimes I don't remember all of it when that happens. But very convincingly stated that because of the distance between us and the moon, that if something were coming in that were within a certain size, that we wouldn't see it until its travel speed versus distance from us gave us roughly 4 hours to figure out what to do. And at that point, what can you do in 4 hours? Something moving at a high velocity, you'd have to smash it into tons and tons and tons of little pieces, and by the time it's as close as the moon is, it's too close to divert it. You don't have much you can do, and that's really interesting. I believe, was it? Yeah, he did round it up to 40 kilometers per second to make it the math easier between the 400,000 kilometers from Earth to the moon and the 1 kilometer of the ships docked in the bay at New York City. Yeah, I was real like hooked into this movie or video, and what do you do? Yeah, right, near Earth or near Earth orbit. But we can only see a certain amount of space, and we're not. There's a high probability that something like this could happen. So, you have 4 hours to live. I just announced to you that the meteor is on its way and we're gonna die. Please don't leave. I got 40 more minutes of your time. I'm the one that told you this was gonna happen. So before you leave to do what's gonna happen, please tell me, what is it we're gonna be doing for the next 4 hours? Well, 3.5 hours after my show. You're gonna do a video. You're gonna make a video, or you're gonna sit and watch a video. Dad, I don't know if a cave would save your life. Because of the cataclysmic following, what would happen after, you still probably wouldn't survive. Even with a deep cave, a decent oxygen supply for a while, you probably wouldn't survive. Sorry. I'm jerking off and eating all the snacks I avoided. Yeah, definitely gluttony is gonna come into play. You're hoping the religious folks stay off the streets. What was that movie called? I can't think of it. Where everything locks down for one day. You're gonna have a few hours of that everywhere. Small mammals survived the impact that killed the dinosaurs. Okay, but it was only certain small mammals, and there was no. Hold on. The way the cataclysmic events work, there's full, there's majority. If you look back at each event and you look at the habitat of each creature at the time and afterward, and what did and didn't survive, there's actually a chart somewhere out there for each event through the Jurassic, the Cretaceous, the Mesozoic, through all of the events and the deaths of these large groups of animals. There's actually a percentage scale of what dies. In some of them, I don't remember if any of them were at 100%. I want to say no. I want to say they're all really high, like 98, 97% of some environments completely annihilated. Wear a lead foil hat. Cockroaches will take over the world. Isn't that amazing to think that cockroaches are going to live? I'd get even with everyone. I'm going out. I'm going with no red in my ledger. Finish the game. I like that idea. Goddamn fucking cockroaches going all Planet of the Apes and shit on us. Would cockroaches rule the world? Wouldn't they need a larger oxygen supply than that would be left after a cataclysmic event? Interesting though, right? To think that bees used to be 2-3 feet long in the Mesozoic. Data help. Data. Was it the Mesozoic the bees were large? It was pre something. Skeeter! Skeeter, they're calling for you! Where are you, Skeeter? 90% of all life. Sharks survived. Okay, so Bullwinkle, if you actually look somewhere, I'm sure if I pressed Google, chart for cataclysm. I don't know what to search for, but there is a chart that gives you each event and era, and it gives you air, water, and land creatures separately. Funny thing is, a lot of birds die out with just about everything. So keep that in mind. You don't want to be a bird. High O2 big creatures. Right. I'm trying to remember. Precambrian. That's what it was. Thank you, Space Bitch. I am paying attention. There's just so much information in there I can't hold. The last hour we go to college and laugh at SJWs. You know what? They'd probably all kill themselves. They don't know what to do. I mean, you only got 4 hours to live. This isn't a, hey, the world is maybe coming to an end. This is, hey, the world is almost definitely just gonna split in half, and we don't have anything to look forward to. What are you doing for 4 hours? Well, I've got some crowbars and a couple of sledgehammers, and there's a store right around the corner and one down the road, and I've been in demolition derbies before, so that sounds like fun too. The Great Oxygen Catastrophe killed almost 99%. Birds survive because they can fly to a safe area. But there was one, I want to say, not the Precambrian, but the one after that killed off like 83, like somewhere in the low 80% of the bird population. What was left were, you know what, I wish I looked more of this up more closely to the show, but sometimes you just go, ooh, that sounds cool to talk about. Let's talk about the color purple and how it pisses off my bot. Well, not anymore, but it did. It did. The book and movie On the Beach. We're talking the last day on Earth. I go cycle and steal a car, start beating the shit out of anyone, fuck a girl, and wish her for the best. You know what? This is how true is this. If we were in the last hours, how restrained are we right now? And what would you see people do if there was no more restraint? You're all gonna die anyways. What do you do in the last 3 hours? You got rape, you got murder, you got robbery, you got car accidents, you got hand-to-hand, you got people walking out with knives and doing things they've seen in movies to their neighbor. You got like, I'm sorry, you were a nice guy, but this looks fun. We all saw Hostel, right? How many people would come out like Hostel? You know, I got a chainsaw and I'm going after the neighbor. Okay, now I'm getting a little scared. Oh, scary thought. Numbed. I'd get far away immediately. That's really interesting. I would think we'd revert to animals. Really? I think we'd revert to real technological animals that have things like battery-operated buzzsaws. I think I got 3. Crowbars, sledgehammers. My truck's pretty damaging. And 2, I find a bigger truck, which is also very probable. How bad would things be? Think about the worst thing you'd want to do. And then stop and think about the worst mind on the planet for wanting to do worse things and think it's going to be anywhere between there. And that's what you got to survive. Well, or not survive. You know, you'd get those people that realize how bad it's going to be and go, well, fuck this, I'm not waiting 4 hours. I think I've depressed this topic enough. Why do people pick fuck the world? We did it. We suffered a few... Oh, somebody robbed the bank! The rest of the group got away with a bag of bones. techno barbarians. Okay, so we're not doing too bad. I don't care how many I get through today. This is fun. This is fun. What are we doing next? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? What are we doing? Who's got it? Who's gonna pick the next one? Are you gonna pick my topic for me? Movies! What could be the difficulty of turning a book into a movie? Things that make you go, Alright, so let's think about it this way. I don't think anybody in here, including myself, has successfully written a book. I've been successfully published, but not a book. Little small articles. Nothing to brag about. Nothing I'm even going to be able to mention because of my anonymity. But if you think about it, there's been books we've all read that you go, this would be a cool movie. And why don't they turn this into a movie? I'll call that that era is kind of coming to an end soon. They're kind of turning everything into a movie. They're out of ideas. But what's really involved? Yeah, a lot of people say when you read the books are really good, but the movies had to change the books. There's stuff that you just can't leave. You also have to take, and I don't think some people realize this, when you're looking at a book and you're trying to structure it to a screenwrite, or is it screenwrite? Or screenplay? Whatever it's called. When you're trying to restructure it, some of the conversation is in the book. The story's in the book. But you have to provide all the dialogue. You can't just have an empty space of movie, unless you're just doing one of those dummy, sometimes funny, but mostly dumb narrated movies where the people are just sitting there. As the story continues, the two of them were found on the street corner under the canopy by the window. As they looked through the window, they noticed that dinner was being had on the table, and they were hungry. No, it's, hey, they're having dinner in there. Should we knock? No, that's rude. Let's go to the next house and see if they're empty. You know, you look for that dialogue in a movie. It's not always in the book. The book describes the situation. The book gives you the feeling that you're there, but gives you some of the conversation to feel like you can place yourself. When you move that book into a screen, into a... It's screenplay, right? It's a screenplay. When you move it into a screenplay and you give the dialogue to all the characters, you have to take out some of the descriptive factors, because how are you going to put them there? You can't talk about how things were embellished in gold. You have to provide that for people to see. So you're obviously going to have your changes from the way the book is written, how it's described, the way the writer put it there, to how the director and the screenplay need to go to cause that same feeling or something resembling it for somebody watching a movie. Okay, not enough time in a movie to put everything in a book into the movie. Have you ever listened to a book on tape? Some of those are, 5-6 hours long? So yeah, you couldn't put everything in a book. But again, you go back to that book, is you might have a couple of chapters of that book that literally just sit there and describe things in the book to give you that feeling, that interpersonality of the book to draw you in. When you watch a movie, you're already drawn in because you're sitting in front of it. It doesn't have to describe the features. It doesn't have to describe out the moment. It doesn't have to give you the surrounding in the era. It can pop words up on the screen that just says Austria 1938, and it goes to this grassy knoll with this old falling shack on it. That's all you really need. And 11 hours for some, apparently. And to go from a book to a screenplay, people are like, well, I'd like to see this as a movie, or how come this wasn't included, or hey, this is different. or they had to take this out, or they left out the whole block about how the girl got raped, and it made the story lose context, and it wasn't nearly like the book was, and I can't figure out which one I liked better because they both had good stories, but they were different. It's creative license. You have to transfer it from a book to a movie. You kind of have to interpret what the book puts out how you need to, and provide that as the backdrop for the movie. And once you do that, you're drawing in that character, or you're drawing in the reader or the viewer to be a character in the movie, so to speak. Somebody, even if they're just watching on, depending on how it's all put together. In the book, you have to spend a lot of time drawing them in. You can take out thousands and thousands of words from a book by putting a castle there in the movie. And providing the proper clothing and the proper context in the movie that's described in the book. You take out all those words. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Skeeter! Where's my sledgehammer? That's just a conversation I noticed I was hearing. This is one of those questions that just popped into my head last when I was programming this one. But people keep talking about how, whoa, I read the book for and I saw the movie for, and I do this too. I point out the differences between the book and the movie, and then I point out why those differences are better or worse, and things that come to my mind about it. And then you stop and think, so why? Why are they different? Are they forced to be different? Is it because of what they're doing? So let's stop and, we just did. Take a look at that. Castles are worth thousands of words. Yeah, a castle's worth 1,000 words. Memes to follow. I'm a little busy right now. I'll do them a little later. All right, here we are. We're doing good today. We're doing good. The gay frog's been bathing in our drinking water. Skeeter, the tyrant, torn us gay. They're trying to Skater. Hey, Skater. Skater, they like you. I don't know why. You ain't even come up here yet. Skater, stop running away. Don't make me get the chain. Skater. You got a few minutes. When I'm done here, I'm going to come get you. I'll be with you in a minute. All right. We'll have to get back to this. What do we got? Dark Sasuke. We got data for Triple Heals. And that would be platforms. Data likes platforms. Here we go. Willingly giving out personal information is dangerous. Why do millions of people do it on Facebook every day? How many people in here have their location settings turned on Facebook? Just a curious question, since it's an automatic feature to turn your locations on, or at least it's one of the questions when you set up the account. Pardon me, when I don't have a guest, I don't have a moment to stop and drink. Excuse me. Facebook is a goddamn mess. I'm afraid to use Facebook, and I've said this once before. All my location settings are off, but Facebook automatically determines where you are. Thanks, Nightbot. Fuck you. In doing that, because of some local places I've been and my phone having Facebook, when you go into a store like Walmart, it automatically tells Walmart and Lowe's that you're there. It doesn't send out the alerts because I made sure to turn all that crap off, but then it tracks that I was in those stores, and it has a idea of the location I live in based on the stores that it can track that I visited. So I constantly go through and clean that out, but it still knows where I am within 100 miles, which I don't like, because then it offers me people that live within 100 miles, and some of them I know, and I don't want them on my account for this, because this is for the internet. It doesn't understand what I'm doing. It doesn't understand me, and it won't listen. I only use Facebook for this, and I have a blank account that some of my family can find me on if they know, because I'll send them the link, but that's only like 2 people now that use Facebook to send things back and forth. And that's only because it's convenient for a couple of small features. But I'm ready to delete it from everything just because it's such a pain in my ass. It literally sits and gives me people that live nearby when it doesn't even have my actual address or information put in there. Because I put it that I live over in New York City. And it's giving me people that live local to where I actually am. And I'm not friends on there with anybody I'm locally, or that I know locally. So, I won't put my personal information in Facebook. And it's still trying to get as much as it can. So, why are millions of people readily inputting their information into Facebook every day? How to properly digital paint. Ooh, that sounds fun. I need to figure out how to properly digitally draw, but I think I need one of those little mouse pad things and a special pencil to do that, because I'm not very good using the mouse. Not good at all. I just can't understand. Facebook would change its name to Rape Book if it could. Yeah, that's another thing. Wasn't there, in 2009, maybe 10, wasn't there a huge controversy over people being followed and stalked because of their Facebook and Twitter posts? And then there was another one in, 2013 or 2014 over Craigslist and their stalking problems. And in 2014 or 15, there was the one about somebody hiring out other things. And then just this year, or late last year, there was the one about somebody hiring their own killer on Craigslist. I got one of those raccoon things. They take a bit to learn. Yeah. Raccoons. Instant gratification, some stimulation of the brain, making it addictive. Okay, so it's addictive to learn when you're a kid not to talk to strangers, but then announce to, a few thousand people who you do and don't like, hey, by the way, I might be really close to your house if you want to come cause me some harm. I'm all alone and I've got this tight little mini skirt on. Nah, I need to stop talking. No clips. But you know what I mean? You're going to announce that you're out somewhere at a club by yourself wearing almost nothing, and somebody you don't like might just come by and go, oh, look, snap some pictures, whatever. You're putting that information out there. You're the one making it welcoming for somebody to come rape, kill, torture, harass, follow. At the same time, if you're after some action, you might get what you're after, you might not. How you gonna have any fun if you don't post that you're half naked on Twitter, I mean, I want to see the half-naked pictures. I'm not going to come chasing you down. I'm just going to, look, smile, and click that heart button a few times. It only lets you do it once, for the record. I tried to keep clicking. You got to do odd numbers for some reason. It doesn't like, multiple clicks unless you do the odd numbers. A skeleton in a miniskirt. Wouldn't it fall out? I'd have to pin it up real tight, wouldn't I? Or would it be a skull in a miniskirt? In which case, it's my head cape. My neck cape? My skull cape. I gotta have something to show that there's nothing under there. I sleep naked with my window open and I'm passed out drunk. Okay. I would tell you to freely post that on Craigslist and tell somebody you want them to come over. But apparently Craigslist doesn't want to be implicated in other things, so now you can't do that anymore either. Just letting y'all know, be careful. You know, all the sites that you can find somebody to do something strange to you on are going to disappear. No, I don't want to know what you want done strange to you, but you just know that you won't be able to have it done unless you walk up to somebody and be like, hey, will you act like a stranger and come crawling through my window tonight? Here's the key. How much fun is that? I did use Facebook last. I check it once a week, but I actually went through Facebook looking for something when the Tara LaRoe fight was with the internet troll. I went looking for that. .com. Alright guys, what do we got? Who wants to do what? What do we got going next? People are just kind of hanging out, waiting for that next topic. Let's loosen up, see what's going on. Maybe? Space bitch. Internet, since we're on Facebook. Internet it is. It is relatively inexpensive to start a new platform for streaming. I think I wrote that wrong. Yes, I wrote that wrong. It's relatively expensive to start a new platform for streaming. What else would it take to be competitive with today's stream? Yeah, sometimes you just try so hard to type it quick that you just, damn, fucking, I need an editor. Skeeter, you want to be my editor? Fuck you, Skeeter. Alright. Let me reread that. It's alright. So we all know that in order for you to be able to stream, you're going to need a hell of a lot of server space, which is going to be expensive. You're going to need to pay somebody to serve all of that, you're going to have to pay somebody to have a server that large to store and move and handle that much incoming and outgoing information. We all know this. It's pricey. Home built towers are becoming more affordable, but could you run what YouTube runs on a home built server? You would have to start really small, and you'd have to be begging for money, and you'd have to be building them as fast as you can afford them, and you still wouldn't keep up. But beyond the expense, what else is it going to take? You got all these people saying there's other sites, they could do better, they could change things, they could do this to compete. But what is it they could really do? And let's go past the expense part and the server part and the storage and the bandwidth. Let's get past all of that. Wait, hold on. What did you do in there, Bullwinkle? Try doing the @ symbol and then the person's name if you can, because that usually works a little better. Let's see. Where was I? Okay, so we're going to need to figure out what it is that would make a platform better than YouTube. Okay, so let's start with my thoughts. 1, people came to YouTube because you see fewer or no commercials compared to watching on television. They didn't come to YouTube to pay YouTube to get that. They came to YouTube to get that. And to add in the commercials, while it was a smart financial move, they obviously did it stupidly because they didn't make any money out of it. Still operating in the red. What they should have done was more towards the banner style ads on mobile devices and the corner ads and stuff like that on other devices that they did have, but they should have pushed it a little harder. Maybe even incorporated ads into your video recommended list so you kind of watched ads whether you meant to or not, if you were on autoplay, so that that view would count towards them. Again, it's a weird setup. The more you push ads at people, the less they want to see ads. So when you do watch a 11-minute video with 3 ads, or a 20-minute video with 5 ads, a 30-minute video has 7 ads, and they're all between a minute and a half for the most part on them, unless you skip. And then, you know, well, I wanna help the content creators, but these ads are really getting to be a pain in the ass long, partially because we're not seeing them on television and they're still being made. They need to be fixed, shortened. An ad needs to be 30 seconds, a minute at the most. If you're pushing a minute ad, you're really asking people to stay attentive to something for a minute that they're not after. That's one thing. You need to find a way to offset the ads so the people are exposed to them. They can click on them. They're being pushed, but they're not being pushed so hard that, no, I'm tired of seeing the ads. I'll go somewhere else. It needs to be where... Does anybody remember when YouTube came out and they used to have the huge top of the screen or top of the site banner ads? And then they'd have YouTube, and then in the upper right-hand corner, there would be another ad, and then there would be your recommended list, and then there'd be the video you were watching, and then there'd be like a banner at the bottom with an ad, and then you'd be exposed to 3 ads at a time. It was annoying, but you were willing to deal with it because they weren't in the way. That's the big thing. People came to YouTube to get rid of ads. If anything, they're still at YouTube because it's become the largest platform, regardless of some of the stupid shit they've done. But other platforms don't have ads. In some places, I can go watch the video all the way through. It's not going to stop for me. But I'm not earning the creator that assistance to get to the next penny, I guess, in the way this is going. So how do you look at that? And then there's other things you still have to change. The interaction. YouTube has an over-interactive analytic, which is kind of nice sometimes, but sometimes just gives you too much information without just... How about you give me a spot where all the information reads out, and then you give a spot where the information just reads out in bars. You don't have to go through and give me all these stupid specific reads and percentages. How about you just give me some numbers to look at? Stop spending so much time on that panel and work on, earning some money. There's also too many message boards. They need to find a way to consolidate messages down so that they can be linked to a video, but in an open long pattern, sort of like with Discord, but on a different method. Because if you send me a message, A&W, I did get it, it's a weird spot to find them in, and you don't get alerts for them. So keep that in mind. It's a pain in the ass. And then there is so much more after that to think about. The interactivity. Do you want thumbs up, thumbs down? Do you want the in-between maybe sign? I'd like to see a spot where you're like, well, I like the creator, but I'm indifferent about the video. I'm going to give it an in-between. Or maybe a scale. Do you do that? Would that make you better or worse than YouTube? Do you then become more aggravating to go from like a up or a down to a 5-star rating? And then when somebody goes to watch a video and they've got, 59 people, they clicked 3 stars, and a couple people, they clicked 5 stars, and you can get like a 3.5-star rating or a 4-star rating based on that. So these are different ways to approach what YouTube does. And what somebody has to do is take what YouTube does, take it apart into all the features, and then put all the features back together in a different way and figure out how you can repeat improve, not even quite repeat improve, but completely revamp by taking the best parts and just putting them back together differently. Now I'm rambling. We all love when I ramble for a minute, but it appears you've all started dealing with the bot. Gender neutral names. Let's see. How many have we done? We've already done 5. Wow, we're flying today. Why is it so stuffy? Springtime's getting to me. My nose is all stuffed up today. Dry cough. Weather got nice. Weather got wet. We got time for one more. If anybody's still paying attention to the show and not messing with Nightbot. That damn bot gets so much attention. And if you don't give it attention, it just throws itself in the middle of the damn conversation. We have... Lacey Ann wanted controversy. The Malevolent Rider got sex in there first. Was there anything above that? Cool, good to know. Off topic. Sex, it was first. Ding. While casual hookup sex with a stranger can be exciting and fun, knowing some of the many possible negative outcomes, why do people still take those chances? Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. We all know at least some of the negative things that can happen from let's call it a one night stand. Why not? What are some of the negative things that can happen? Oh, I don't know. STD or STI, viruses, infections. You could get cum in your eye. Apparently that burns. I've been told. Do we have anybody in here that can confirm or deny that you might end up in the emergency room if you get too much cum in your eye because of the acid? Good to know. Yeah, I heard about that a couple weeks ago. I had to laugh. I'm sorry. Sorry. Off topic, but it was funny to me. We all know that, hooking up with somebody can be fun. AIDS is terrible. Kids are a lot worse. Would you rather get an STI or a kid? That's a very important question. That's going to be the question for today's show. Would you rather have an STI or an STD? Or would you rather have a child? Which one would be worse for the rest of your life? And part of it would probably depend on whether or not you want children. Because if you don't, well then I guess a child's pretty bad. But then again, who wants an STI? So wouldn't that always fall on a lower level? I don't know. The kid is worse. Gotta know the kid is worse. Don't have kids. Just have sex. Yay! Yes, I would say an STD is worse. The kids are gonna ruin at least 20 years of your life, any and all money you had, and if you're a woman, probably your body. Sorry. The more kids, the worse they'll ruin them. There you go. A kid is a term STD. I don't know if 18 years is always accurate there. You might get those 20-year STDs. Then again, you might get those 30-year and those 40-year STDs too. You just never know until you get them. If you kick them out when they're 18, is that aborting them? Oh, which would you rather have as a kid? Okay, that makes sense. Rather have a kid than an STD. It's 50-50. They're both a pain. That will shorten your life considerably. That's very true. Oh. All I heard was blank. There's nothing there. You didn't hear it. It's okay. It's okay. We said something. We just don't remember what it was. Oh, this is the last topic of today. Cool, because this is an awkward one. Who has actually had casual hookups? STDs are cheaper. Yes, they probably could be, depending on what kind of STD it is and how often it flares up. I think. I've been checked multiple times. I got nothing to worry about, so I really can't offer you my advice on how to care for your STI or STD. But there are those that can. Please search Google, or the Yellow Pages might even be better for you. Kicked him out at 18 as a late-term abortion. What about disowning them? If they're not yours, if you get rid of them, then isn't that aborting? Is that aborting? That's a very, very late term abortion. Are you still connected? Don't be connected 18 years later. That'd be terrible. An STI is a sexually transmitted infection. An STD is a sexually transmitted disease. And then you could ask, would a child being conceived be a sexually transmitted disease? Or would it be an STI, a sexually transmitted insemination? No, that didn't sound right after that. A sexually transmitted insemination. Yeah, that was better. Okay, I gotta know how bad I'm doing. That right there is a difference. Effective oral contraceptive. You know, you could always use the good old kitchen plastic wrap if you want to accidentally try and suffocate yourself. But if you tongue too hard, wouldn't you go through the plastic? And if you use a dental dam, that requires how much more effort to get in there? Or are you supposed to kind of lightly hold it and then... I don't know. I've never used a dental dam. But I know what it is. It's just like a little piece of rubber paper. And it's supposed to stretch, but... Disease and infection. I'm not entirely sure on that, to be honest, because I know some are viruses and some are what's the other one? Yeah, it's the form. I want to say STIs can be treated and STDs are like HIV and long term, like there's no treatment. There's treatment, but there's no cure or anything for it. An STI I want to say is curable, and an STD I want to say is uncurable, but I could absolutely be wrong about that, because I could be absolutely wrong about anything. I could. I'm pretty sure that changed that from STI to STD because of an outcry about shaming people and calling them diseased. It was an SJW movement in the 90s. A bunch of people with herpes don't like to be called diseased. That's alright. A bunch of people in California only want to do a short period of time for getting people a life-threatening illness. Lacey and the real disease is politically correct culture. True! Oh, we're not playing that game. Alright, next time. Alright, well, I think that is about the hour. 59:59 is what that says. That's not even counting accurately. It's skipping digits and shit. I just watched it skip 2 numbers, and it did it again. It fucking doesn't even know how to count. I don't know how long I've been on. Neither does YouTube. Alright, so with that, there's a bunch of buttons I'd like you to click. Please do so. And we're going to find our way to the door as I apparently go find my way to the dish sponge because I got to start a roast and the pan's not clean because I used it yesterday. So, the at-home dad thing. Gotta do it. With that, thanks everybody. Thank you so much for showing up and giving me something to talk about. Until tomorrow. There's some music here I should be playing, I think.